Have you ever noticed how worry has a subtle way of slipping into your daily routine? It starts small. A thought about the future, a doubt about what might go wrong, and before you even realize it, it has taken over your body, sped up your breathing, clouded your mind, and disconnected you from yourself. Most of us believe that worrying is a sign of being responsible, that only those who worry are truly trying to prevent the worst. But what if I told you that constant worry actually weakens your ability to deal with life? And more than that it also drains your vital energy and disrupts the integrity of your vibrational field? When you stop feeding fear with your attention, your aura begins to restructure itself. The energy that was once used to try to control everything now turns into presence. And that presence, when it is in coherence, becomes your greatest protection. In this video, we're going to explore why stopping the worry isn't carelessness, but a deep spiritual act. You'll understand how anxiety affects your energetic field, how the mind becomes a distorted filter of reality, and how your aura can transform into a true vibrational shield. But not a shield that blocks, rather, a shield that filters out what is misaligned with your essence. Your vibration is your invisible signature, and when it's clear, strong, and coherent, nothing that doesn't resonate with your light can remain. The mind loves to predict the future. It feels safe when it believes it's in control. But what we call control is often a subtle trap. How many times have you spent hours imagining the worst-case scenario, trying to anticipate every detail, only to realize that nothing happened the way you expected? Worry is born from this attempt to protect yourself from the unpredictable. It wears the mask of caution, but behind it hides a deep fear, the fear of not being in control. And so you enter a cycle. The more you worry, the more you believe it will prevent something bad from happening. But in reality, what it does is trap you in a constant state of alert. Worry creates a fog. It steals your clarity, silences your intuition, and pulls you away from the now, which is the only place where real transformation happens. Rudolf Steiner said that consciousness can only expand when a human being fully surrenders to the present. But how can you surrender when the mind is always projecting invisible threats? Who would you be if you stopped feeding that state of tension? What if, instead of losing control, you actually gained something deeper, like lightness, trust, and clarity? Maybe true power isn't in controlling the future, but in becoming so present that the future begins to align with your frequency. And in that state, worry becomes unnecessary, because your energy field starts to speak for you. Have you ever walked into a room where something felt heavy, even though no one said a word? Or met someone whose presence silently either calmed you or made you feel uneasy for no apparent reason? These perceptions don't come from the logical mind. They come from a subtle reading of the energy field, the aura. The aura is a vibrational field that surrounds the physical body. Rudolf Steiner described it as a living expression of the soul, which changes according to our inner states. It's not just a mystical concept. It's sensitive, changeable, and directly responds to the thoughts and emotions we cultivate. When you live in constant worry, your aura becomes dense, dull, and fragmented. It loses coherence. And this isn't symbolic, it's energetic. Ongoing worry, which operates through fear and the anticipation of danger, distorts the natural vibration of your presence. This has real effects. Your ability to attract positive situations decreases. Your intuition weakens. Your natural protection breaks down. Because the aura, when coherent, acts like a filter that repels what doesn't resonate with you. But when it's cracked by worry, it becomes permeable, vulnerable. Joseph Campbell said that, when you are in tune with your inner life, the outer world aligns. But how can you expect that alignment if your field is out of tune? The way you think, feel, and move through the world shapes your field. And that field is the first to encounter experiences even before you consciously notice them. So clearing your mind of worry isn't just about feeling better. It's about aligning your vibration with the life you want to experience. Your aura is the message you silently send to the universe. Worry doesn't live only in the mind. It settles in the body too. When you hold on to anxious thoughts, your nervous system goes into a state of alert, as if something is about to happen. It's the fight or flight mechanism, a system that is essential in moments of real danger, but that today is triggered over and over by imagined threats. The problem is that the body doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. If your mind keeps repeating that something bad is going to happen, your heart starts to race, your muscles tense up, your breathing becomes shallow. And over time, this constant alertness becomes your default way of existing. In this state, vital energy doesn't flow freely. It's consumed by tension. You become disconnected from your body, your breath, your sense of grounding. And more deeply, you lose access to the spirit, the most subtle and intuitive part of your awareness. Carl Jung said that modern humans suffer because they've lost touch with the natural rhythms of the soul. And one of those rhythms is the balance between action and rest, between focus and surrender, between control and trust. But how can you trust when your whole body is telling you there's danger? How can you relax when your internal system has been trained to stay one step ahead of chaos? That's when we begin to understand that spiritual work is also physical work. You don't connect to your essence just by thinking positively. You connect when your body feels safe enough to make space for the subtle. True protection begins when you step out of the state of inner war. And that doesn't take effort, it takes presence. Your peace is the language the universe understands. Everything in the universe vibrates, from the densest matter to the most subtle thoughts. And this vibration creates a field, a frequency. That's why, even without saying a word, you can feel when someone is carrying fear, anger, or serenity. Worry has a specific frequency: contracted, unstable, disconnected. When you stay in that state for too long, you begin to emit that pattern into the world. And through the simple law of resonance, you start to attract situations, people, and experiences that reinforce that state. It's not punishment, it's tuning. Joseph Campbell wrote that when we follow what brings us joy, doors open where there were only walls before. The vibration of joy, trust, and presence opens paths the worried mind could never imagine. The problem is that most of us try to change reality without changing our inner state. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Or more precisely, what you are being in the moment. This means learning to recognize when you're vibrating out of alignment with your essence, and having tools to return to center. A coherent aura is not the result of forced positive thinking. It's born from vibrational honesty, from inner listening, from aligning what you think, feel, and do on the same frequency. When that alignment happens, something shifts around you. When worry shows up, our natural reaction is to resist it. We reject the negative thought, try to distract ourselves, or force a positivity that isn't genuine. But what is repressed doesn't go away. It only hides, waiting for the right moment to return, usually with more strength. It's not about diving into anxiety or identifying with it. It's about recognizing its presence, observing its movement, and understanding what it's trying to protect. Because deep down, every worry comes from a part of the psyche that wants safety. It just doesn't know another way to ask for it. Jung spoke about the value of holding the tension of the opposites, keeping alive within yourself the polarity between fear and trust, without giving in to either extreme. That's the space where consciousness expands. That's where something new can emerge. A third point, broader and more whole. Holding is not repression. It's emotional maturity. It's the ability to witness what you feel without being overtaken by it. And that quiet, attentive inner space is where energy begins to reorganize. When you stop fighting anxiety and begin to welcome it with awareness, something powerful happens. Fear dissolves in the light of observation, and your aura begins to regain the clarity it had lost. Contrary to how it may seem, anxiety is not the enemy. It is a call to return to wholeness. Rudolf Steiner said that a human being is only truly protected when they become aligned with their inner truth. In other words, when what you think, feel, and express are in harmony. In that state, there are no cracks through which chaotic energy can enter. An agitated mind fragments. Silence integrates. And it's that integration that allows your aura to function as a natural field of protection. Not because you're building a shield, but because you've stopped creating openings through thoughts that disconnect you from yourself. This isn't built only through techniques or visualizations. It comes from the habit of returning to yourself, of becoming aware, of breathing, of choosing your inner state before reacting to the outer world. Have you noticed how, on the days when you feel centered, even your problems seem smaller? That's because your frequency doesn't allow chaos to take root. It's not magic. It's energetic coherence. When the mind goes quiet, the light of your being expands. And that light, by fully occupying your space, protects without needing to push anything away. There are practices that work directly on aligning the energy field. They are not complex, but they require presence. Because what brings transformation is not the technique itself, but the quality of attention you bring to it. The first practice is conscious breathing. Try breathing in 4 parts. Inhale to a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and remain empty for 4. This box breathing re-educates the nervous system. It sends the body the message that everything is okay. And the aura responds by expanding in a more stable way. The second practice is grounding. Walk barefoot, lean against a tree, feel the weight of your body on the earth. These simple actions reconnect you with the gravity of the present moment. Rudolf Steiner spoke about the importance of contact with the natural world as a way to restore spiritual health. The earth does not judge, it simply supports, and when you touch it, you remember that. The third practice is active imagination. Visualize your aura as a field of light around you, not a bubble of defense, but a vibrant, pulsing, transparent space. With each inhale, see that light being purified. With each exhale, see it releasing what does not belong to you. This symbolic practice has real effects. The unconscious responds more strongly to images than to words. Finally, there is vibrational prayer. Not as a plea, but as a statement of inner state. Phrases like, "I choose to vibrate in peace," or "May my presence be my shield," can be whispered as energetic reminders. Words carry frequency. When spoken with truth, they realign the field. These practices don't need to be done all at once. Just choose one and repeat it regularly. Over time, your aura becomes clearer, stronger, more coherent. Are you willing to care for your field with the same attention you give your mind? Because it's in that invisible space where change begins. The aura is the mirror of the soul, and you can choose what you want it to reflect. Stopping the worry isn't negligence. It's wisdom. It's recognizing that you don't have to be at war with life to feel safe. Your aura, when it's clear, centered, and vibrant, does that work for you. It communicates to the universe what you've already integrated within. In this state, you're no longer reactive. You stop responding to everything as if it were a threat. Reactivity is born from fear. Radiance is born from presence. And presence isn't built by running from life, but by moving through it with awareness. You become radiant when you stop resisting who you are. When you acknowledge your shadow, but don't define yourself by it. When you align with what is true, even if that means letting go of old defenses. Jung said that wholeness is only possible when we embrace both the light and the darkness within us. This inner embrace creates a field of coherence so strong that it naturally expels what no longer belongs. This is when your aura becomes a shield, not from rigidity, but from vibrational clarity. Maybe now you realize that the problem was never the worry itself, but the space it took up inside you, the energy it drained, the distance it created between you and your own center. If this message resonated with you, take it as a practice, not just a reflection. Breathe, observe, align, and most of all, trust. Because when you stop worrying, your aura begins to speak for you. And what it says, with all its subtle power, is, I am here, whole, present, aligned, and nothing can touch me without my vibrational permission.